In December 2019, astronomers discovered a comet, C2019Y4, nicknamed ATLAS after the survey that found it. Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. The comet appeared ordinary initially, distant, faint, unremarkable. Then it started brightening, rapidly, unexpectedly. By March 2020, predictions changed. ATLAS might become visible to naked eye. Brighter than Venus possibly. Spectacular celestial show. Millions would watch. Then something happened. The comet started fragmenting, breaking apart, behaving strangely. Scientists grew alarmed, not because of danger, Earth was safe, but because ATLAS was doing things comets shouldn't, acting unpredictably, defying models, challenging understanding. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this, not this fast. Comets are predictable usually. Ice and rock, heated by sun, releasing gas and dust, creating tail, following orbital mechanics, Newtonian physics, well understood, calculable. ATLAS followed predictions initially, brightening as approached sun, developing coma, nucleus releasing material, standard behavior. Then March 2020, brightness fluctuations, irregular, unusual, not matching models. Something was wrong. Observations increased. Multiple telescopes, different wavelengths, all confirming. ATLAS was unstable, fragmenting, nucleus breaking apart, into pieces, multiple fragments, each with own coma, own trajectory, own behavior. This was rare, concerning, fascinating. Fragmentation happens. Comets are fragile. Ice holds together loosely. Thermal stress causes cracks. Rotation creates forces. Eventually structure fails. Breaks apart. This is known. Documented, Shoemaker-Levy 9 fragmented spectacularly before hitting Jupiter 1994. But that was gravitational stress. Tidal forces. Jupiter's massive gravity pulled Comet apart. ATLAS had no such excuse. No close planetary encounter. No obvious stress. Just approaching sun. Like thousands of comets before. Why fragment now? Why this comet? Why this way? The brightness was the first clue. ATLAS brightened 4,000 times faster than expected, in just weeks. This suggested massive outgassing, enormous material release, from small nucleus, only 4 kilometers across. Too small, too fast. Physics didn't match. Something else was happening. Internal structure perhaps, hollow spaces, trapped volatiles, suddenly released, creating outburst, accelerating fragmentation, or composition, unusual ice mixture, different melting point, unexpected behavior, speculation increased, models adjusted, predictions changed, daily, sometimes hourly. Nobody knew what would happen, what was happening, what it meant. The orbit was suspicious. ATLAS trajectory matched another comet, C1844Y2, from 176 years ago. Too similar to be coincidence. Same orbital elements, same path, same source. This suggested common origin. Parent comet. Long ago, broke apart, creating fragments, following similar orbits, returning periodically. 1844 fragment came first. 2020 fragment came second. Maybe more coming, in future. This pattern was concerning, not dangerous, just unexpected. Comets aren't supposed to maintain such precise orbital relationships over centuries, after fragmentation. But ATLAS did, proving something about comet structure, about fragmentation timing, about orbital mechanics, something not fully understood. Do you believe comet behavior reveals hidden physics? Most celestial mechanics is well understood. Gravity, orbits, trajectories, calculable, predictable, reliable. But comets introduce chaos. Outgassing creates thrust, non-gravitational forces, unpredictable, rotation changes, surface changes, mass distribution shifts, all affecting orbit, slightly, cumulatively, over time. This makes long-term prediction difficult. ATLAS demonstrated this. Defied prediction, required constant updating, constant observation, constant revision. This is science functioning. Models meet reality. Reality wins. Models adjust. Understanding improves slowly, imperfectly, honestly. The fragmentation mechanism was debated. Thermal stress, rotational forces, internal pressure, structural weakness. All possible, all plausible, all insufficient alone. Probably combination. Multiple factors, compounding, creating failure cascade. One crack leads to another. Stress concentrates. Structure weakens. More fragments break off. Process accelerates until complete disintegration. This is what happened to Atlas. Between March and May 2020, Comet dissolved, gradually, then rapidly, then completely. By May, nucleus was gone. Only debris remained, dust, small fragments, scattered along orbit, continuing towards sun, without nucleus, without future, just remnants of what could have been. Spectacular comet, naked eye wonder. Instead, cautionary tale about unpredictability, about fragility, about nature's refusal to follow predictions. The timing was ironic. March 2020, COVID-19 pandemic starting, world shutting down, everyone isolated, scared, uncertain, and Comet appears. Promising spectacle, distraction, hope, wonder, then breaks apart, disappoints, vanishes. Metaphor was too perfect, too obvious. Commentators noticed, pandemic, comet, both unexpected, both destructive, both unstoppable. This was coincidence, meaningless coincidence. But humans find patterns, create meaning, even when none exists. Atlas became symbol of 2020, of pandemic year, of hopes crushed, of plans disrupted, of normal destroyed. This is anthropocentric, projecting human concerns onto celestial mechanics, but emotionally resonant, culturally significant, scientifically irrelevant. The scientific value was enormous. Fragmenting comets are rare, observed rarely, documented incompletely. Atlas was different. Modern instruments, multiple observations, continuous monitoring, everything recorded, every stage documented, from discovery, through brightening, through fragmentation, through dissolution, complete record. This data is invaluable. Understanding comet structure, internal composition, fragmentation mechanisms, all improved by Atlas observations. Disappointment as spectacle, triumph as science. This trade-off is acceptable to scientists, to researchers, to anyone valuing understanding over entertainment. The fragments' fate varied. Some continued towards sun, evaporating completely. Others ejected, changed orbits, scattered throughout solar system. Some might return in decades, centuries, as separate comets, with own designations, own discoveries, descendants of Atlas. This is comet evolution, fragmentation creating population, multiple objects from one, explaining comet abundance, explaining periodic returns, explaining orbital families. Atlas demonstrated this, showed process in real time. Over months, teaching lesson about solar system dynamics, about comet life cycle, about how one becomes many. The amateur astronomer community was devastated. They anticipated spectacle, prepared equipment, planned observations, photography sessions, public events, outreach opportunities. Then Atlas faded. Fragmenting, disappointing. Years of anticipation, wasted. This is astronomy reality. Sky doesn't care about human plans, about expectations, about preparations. It does what it does, following physics, not wishes. This lesson is harsh, but necessary. Teaching humility, teaching acceptance, teaching that universe doesn't perform for us, for anyone. It just exists, indifferently, beautifully, terrifyingly. The professional response was measured. Excitement about unexpected, interest in unusual, focus on science, not spectacle. This distinction matters. Public wants shows. Scientists want data. Both are valid, both are important, but different. Atlas provided data, abundantly, unexpectedly, valuably. Spectacle was sacrificed, but knowledge was gained. This trade is acceptable in scientific community, but disappointing to public, creating tension between research and outreach, between understanding and entertainment, between what science does and what people want. Atlas crystallized this perfectly, frustratingly, instructively. The media coverage was confused. Headlines proclaimed Comet disappointment and failed spectacle and broken comet, missing point entirely. Atlas wasn't failure, was opportunity, rare observation, valuable data, scientific success. Media misunderstood. Because media thinks spectacle equals success, visibility equals value, entertainment equals importance. Scientific community thinks differently, values differently, measures differently, creating communication gap, creating misunderstanding, creating missed opportunities for education, for outreach, for explaining. Why fragmentation matters, why disappointment is data, why broken comet is scientific treasure. Media failed this, completely, predictably. The modeling improvements were immediate. Atlas data fed into simulations, refined parameters, tested assumptions, improved predictions for future comets, for future fragmentations, for future observations. This is scientific progress. One comet teaches about all comets. One fragmentation reveals all fragmentation mechanisms. One disappointment improves all future predictions. Atlas legacy isn't spectacle, is understanding, is knowledge, is improved models. This matters more, lasts longer, helps more than any naked eye show, however beautiful, however temporary, however memorable. The follow-up observations continued, months, years, tracking fragments, measuring orbits, understanding evolution. Some fragments stabilized, others continued fragmenting, creating cascade, each generation smaller, weaker, more numerous, eventually just dust, distributed along orbit, creating meteor stream. In future, when Earth crosses, we'll see meteors, from Atlas debris, shooting stars, from comet that disappointed, that fragmented, that vanished. This is long game. This is future payoff. This is science patience, waiting decades for result, for confirmation, for validation of today's observations, today's work, today's disappointment. The comparison with other fragmenting comets matters. 73P Schwarzmann-Wachmann, 3 fragmented spectacularly, 1995, provided wealth of data, multiple fragments observed over years. Atlas similar, but different. Faster fragmentation, more complete dissolution, better documentation. Each fragmenting comet teaches something, each slightly different, each revealing aspect of comet physics, of structure, of composition, collection of observations, builds understanding, incrementally, imperfectly, really. This is how science works, not breakthrough, but accumulation, not revelation, but grinding progress, not spectacular, but effective. If unpredictable cosmic events and comet mysteries fascinate you, subscribe to Veiled Origin. This is Veiled Origin, where comets disappoint, but science celebrates, where broken objects teach most, where fragments matter, more than holes. The brightness curve was unprecedented. Normally, comets brighten smoothly, following power law. Distance from sun determines brightness. Simple relationship, predictable. Atlas violated this. Brightness spiked, dropped, spiked again. Chaotic. Random seemingly, but not random. Physical processes caused each spike. Fragment breaking off, new surface exposed, fresh ice sublimating, creating outburst, then declining, until next fragment, next exposure, next spike. Reading this curve was like reading Comet's death. Each spike was fracture. Each decline was settling. Each pattern told story of internal structure coming apart, piece by piece, observation by observation, until nothing remained. The spectroscopic analysis revealed composition, water ice, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, standard comet materials. But ratios were unusual, more volatile ices than typical. This explained rapid brightening, explained fragmentation. Volatile ices sublimate easily, create internal pressure, stress structure, cause failure. Atlas was volatile rich, making it bright, making it active, making it fragile. This composition isn't rare, just rarely observed, because most volatile-rich comets disintegrate before discovery, before observation, before documentation. Atlas was caught in process, in death spiral, in final act. Lucky timing, valuable timing, scientific timing. The rotation rate changed as fragmentation progressed, nucleus spinning faster, then slower, then chaotic. This indicated asymmetric fragmentation, pieces breaking off unevenly, changing mass distribution, affecting rotation, creating wobble, increasing instability, accelerating breakdown, positive feedback loop, instability causing fragmentation, fragmentation increasing instability until complete dissolution, physics textbook example of cascade failure, of system collapse, of entropy winning. Atlas demonstrated this perfectly, tragically, instructively. Nature doesn't build. To last, doesn't engineer. For stability, just throws together. Frozen volatiles, dust, rock, barely holding, until sun intervenes, then falls apart. Inevitably, completely. The dust analysis showed diversity, different particles, different sizes, different compositions, all released simultaneously as nucleus fractured. This proved inhomogeneity. Comet wasn't uniform, had layers, regions, pockets, each different, each contributing differently to fragmentation, to dust cloud, to observations. This complexity is typical, but rarely observable. Usually nucleus is intact, hidden, unknown. Fragmentation exposed interior, showed structure, revealed secrets. Atlas interior became exterior. Private became public. Hidden became known. Through destruction, through dissolution, through observation. Science extracting understanding. From chaos, from disaster, from disappearance. The orbital perturbations were measurable. Outgassing creates thrust. Jet forces, pushing nucleus, changing velocity, altering orbit, slightly, cumulatively. Atlas experienced this, massively, multiple fragments, multiple jets, multiple forces, all different directions. Chaos. Orbital predictions became impossible. Too many variables, too much uncertainty, too rapid change. This is practical limit of prediction, of calculation, of knowledge. Some systems are computable, some aren't. Atlas crossed boundary, from knowable to chaotic, from predictable to uncertain. This boundary exists everywhere, in physics, in astronomy, in life. Atlas found it, demonstrated it, taught lesson about limits, about uncertainty, about accepting that some things can't be predicted, can't be controlled, can't be understood completely. The public engagement attempts failed. Scientists tried explaining, fragmentation is interesting, data is valuable, observation is opportunity. Public didn't care. Wanted show, wanted spectacle, wanted something to see. Nothing else mattered. This disconnect is fundamental. Science values knowledge, public values experience. Both valid, neither wrong, just different. Reconciling them is hard, maybe impossible. Scientists can't make comets perform, can't force visibility, can't guarantee spectacle. Only observe, only analyze, only understand. Public feels betrayed, disappointed, uninterested. Science's failure isn't scientific, is communicative, is expectations management, is public engagement. Atlas exposed this, highlighted this, made obvious what's always true. Science and public want different things, from universe, from astronomy, from comets. The economic impact was minor. Some telescope time wasted, some resources misdirected, some funding spent on observations. That didn't produce expected results, but produced unexpected results, better results, more valuable results. This is research reality. Planning is guess. Execution is adaptation. Results surprise, always. This is why funding basic science is investment in unknown, in unexpected, in unpredictable. Atlas justified this perfectly. Didn't deliver promised spectacle, delivered better science. This is best outcome for research, for knowledge, for humanity. Even if disappointing, for stargazers, for photographers, for casual observers. The legacy will persist. Decades, centuries, every fragmentation study will reference Atlas, every comet model will incorporate data, every prediction will include lessons learned. This is immortality in science, not fame, not recognition, but contribution, permanent, lasting, building blocks for future understanding. Atlas is now foundation for comet science, for fragmentation studies, for volatile research. This matters more than any temporary visibility, than any naked eye show, than any public excitement. Science remembers, science builds, science preserves. What matters, what teaches, what advances. Understanding. Atlas achieved this completely, successfully, permanently. The next comet will come, maybe tomorrow, maybe years, maybe decades. Will it fragment? Will it perform? Will it satisfy? Nobody knows. Can't know. Universe doesn't schedule, doesn't announce, doesn't guarantee, just provides opportunities, observations, lessons. Our job is readiness, is openness, is acceptance of whatever comes. Atlas taught this, taught acceptance, taught flexibility, taught that plans change, expectations fail, universe surprises, always. This is valuable lesson beyond astronomy, beyond science, about life, about unpredictability, about embracing uncertainty, about finding value in disappointment, about extracting meaning from chaos, about understanding that broken comets teach most. If cosmic unpredictability and fragmentation mysteries intrigue you, subscribe to Veiled Origin. This is Veiled Origin, where comets break, science learns, and disappointment teaches more than spectacle ever could. The amateur contribution mattered. Professional telescopes are scheduled, limited, expensive, can't observe continuously. Amateurs filled gaps, worldwide network, different time zones, different equipment, all contributing, photos, measurements, brightness estimates, creating complete timeline, professional quality, amateur dedication. This collaboration is astronomy's strength. Professionals provide expertise, amateurs provide coverage, together creating understanding, impossible alone. Atlas benefited from this enormously, complete fragmentation documented, because amateurs watched, constantly, obsessively, lovingly, even when professionals couldn't, even when disappointing, even when fragmenting. Amateurs persisted, observed, contributed. This is science community, working, functioning, succeeding, together. The historical context illuminates 1844 fragment visible, documented by observers, hand drawings, written descriptions, no photographs, limited data, but recorded, preserved, archives. 2020 fragment visible, documented by cameras, digital sensors, spectroscopy, complete data, comprehensive analysis, compared, same parent, Same origin, different technology, different understanding, but connected across centuries, across technology, across knowledge. This continuity is science, building, accumulating, connecting, past observations with present, creating future understanding. Atlas connected centuries, proved relationships, demonstrated methods, validated theories. This is progress. This is achievement. This is worth. More than spectacle, more than visibility, more than temporary wonder. The philosophical implications resonate. Comets are temporary, fragile, doomed, from formation, sublimating, degrading, fragmenting, eventually disappearing. This is universal truth. Nothing lasts, everything ends. Entropy increases. Atlas demonstrated this. Accelerated timeline, human timescale, observable, comprehensible, relatable. We watch comet die in months. What takes millennia? Compressed, visible, meaningful. This is memento mori, cosmic scale, reminder of impermanence, of fragility, of inevitable. End, not depressing, just honest, just reality, just universe. Being universe. Atlas was teacher, about mortality, about change, about acceptance. Cosmic lesson for anyone, watching, thinking, understanding. If comets and cosmic fragility fascinate you, subscribe to Veiled Origin. This is Veiled Origin, where broken comets teach lasting lessons and disappearance matters most.